Hello, my name is Jordyn Lockhart. I am a senior here at Lindenwood University, and for this year's Student Research Conference, I am presenting my final project for my Hispanic Text 2 class over Eva Perón and her influence on Argentina. So for my art attack, I deconstructed a dress to show the evolution of Eva Perón's fashion style as she became more politically involved and a greater influence, an icon to those who followed her.
This is what the dress looked like previously before I altered it. And this is the back of the dress before the deconstruction.
Perón's style throughout the years shows how her life flowed synonymously with the evolution of her style and image. To Perón, what she wore was a method of speaking to her people. Perón is remembered for setting incredibly high standards for future First Ladies around the world, and whether you were an admirer or not, Perón defied the views of women at the time, refusing to be seen as an accessory to her husband. She has used her style throughout her life as a method of communication. From defying those who doubted her to dressing up for her people, Perón created an unspoken dialogue with what she wore, letting her politics and image coincide and allowing her life to truly be captured by her iconic style. Evita's style went through an evolution that mirrored her life's turning points. This didn't happen by mere chance. She was very conscious of her image and precisely shaped it, paying attention to every single detail. Just as her style changed throughout her time, I altered my artifact to show these different changes and stages of her life. Evita was born in 1919, and at just 15 years old in 1934, she moved to Buenos Aires to pursue her acting career on stage, radio, and in films. At this time, during her acting days, Eva emulated the Hollywood beauty and fashion icons. For instance, she dyed her hair blonde for the more glamorous look. My artifact started off very ill-fitting. It was a dress that covered everything except for the chest area, so this is to represent the stage of Evita's life before she met Juan Perón and while she was on her own. The fact that the dress was ill-fitting at the beginning represents how Evita was trying to grow herself to fit this mold of being an actress that she dreamed of. She was willing to do almost anything to become a star. In 1994, she met Juan Perón, and a year later, they got married. When Juan Perón was elected president, Eva adopted what is considered the typical 1940s fashion. Noticeable shoulder pads, tailored jackets and tube skirts down to the knee, embellished hats, high-heeled peep-toed shoes, and a pompadour hairdo with curls by the neck. Deep cleavage, strapless floral prints, draped dresses, and fur coats were all common choices for her evening occasions. To represent this transformation in Evita's life, I decided to deconstruct the dress and separate the top from the bottom, and I took the hem up and the middle section to show a little bit of the stomach. So this is something I don't think that Eva would have ever done in her time, but if she were alive today, I think she would embrace the trend of a two-piece outfit. So I also added zippers in the back, and I took it in to show the deep cleavage, something Evita was known for. For the skirt, I decided to chop off the bottom half with the train. This represented, in a way, Eva shedding her past self and being able to complete this transformation and accept the person who she had become. So the cut right above the knee also is something that Eva was known for and is a classy hemline for women of power. The better fit represents Eva as she truly discovered who she was as a person and created a name for herself. After the garment was finished, I styled it with a classic nude heel pearl earring because the earrings Eva wore every day became a symbol of her, and even added a fur coat for the evening occasion. Eva used fashion as an instrument of communication. She wanted to say something through her clothes. She had a humble origin and was motivated to help the poor, but dressed as an upper-class woman, perhaps to show that anyone could ascend socially in these days. Even when she was at the foundation, she wore her best clothes, explaining that she was the hostess and liked to receive her guests with the best she had. Christian Dior once said in an interview, "The only queen I've ever dressed was Eva Perón." Although Eva was not a true queen, she held herself to the standard of one and became an influential figure throughout both fashion and politics. Throughout this project, I learned that you don't need a formal title to be a leader. Eva never held a political position of her own, but had a large influence in Argentina. A garment can tell a whole story without even having any words or the designer explain. It was such a fun process deconstructing this dress and designing something symbolic of Eva. Thank you.
So now I want to take some time to show you some of the video process of the transformation. So these are some pictures of me styled with the dress before the transformation. As you can tell, like I said before, the dress was very ill-fitting. It's very large, covers most of the body. So this is the video of me taking that dress and deconstructing it from what it was and adding all of the elements of Eva that I felt were portrayed within her lifetime. What I'm doing at this part of the video is taking a seam ripper and removing the top of the dress from the bottom skirt section of the dress. This is very time consuming. It involved me going through multiple different layers of stitching as well as removing the entire long zipper from the back of the dress. You can see I was able to remove the top from the bottom section completely. So after that, I had to fold the rough sections in and create a hem above the bottom part of the top section, as well as where I would add the zipper eventually. Throughout this entire process, there wasn't actually a lot of sewing. I had to use a seam ripper and scissors and deconstruct the dress completely, and that's what took up majority of my time. In this section, though, I am sewing the hem, so I have that flat bottom as well as a flat side to therefore attach the zipper. Adding zippers are one of the hardest things to do in my opinion because they need to lay flat. But I think I did a pretty good job. I chose a black zipper just to kind of have it stick out. I feel like Evita didn't necessarily follow the same path as everyone else, and I feel if I would have chosen a maroon zipper that blended in, it wouldn't be representative of Evita. This next part is me removing the lining from the interior of the skirt because this dress originally started as a bridesmaid dress. It had a lot of layers and I didn't think it needed it. So I took out the lining and then I ended up adding a top hem because the lining and the fabric itself were attached to the top. So I had to make a clean edge, and then I eventually cut off the bottom half of the skirt to hem it. Here's me cutting off that bottom half of the skirt. Now taking off that much fabric is a little scary, but it was definitely worth it for the end result, seeing that skirt hemline right above the knee, which was very popular in Evita's day. Finally, after the deconstruction, the seam ripping, the sewing, we're left with the ending product. This is the final dress, the two pieces. You can see that the stomach area is shown. The hem for the skirt is right above the knee, so I decided to model it to show how I feel Evita would have styled it back in the day. So I have pearl earrings as well as the low chiffon bun because that was what Evita was known for. I also like to point out that I added a fur coat for the evening occasions. So thank you so much for watching and following, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you.